Good afternoon, Culver City. My name is Paula Amezola de Herrera, and I'm running for Culver City School Board. And I'm putting these short videos together to answer some of the questions from our parents. And I have a question here coming from one of our parents. The question reads, should schools remain closed? What is your action plan for teachers to identify and address homeless families? What collaboration will be with social services? And I want to say this is a great question, and this is and 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 this is the reason why every morning I wake up and I think about all the ways that we can help our most vulnerable students. Uh, During the pandemic, the CCUSD sent out a survey, and this survey went across all families, and it asked the questions about do you have housing and do you have employment, and how has the pandemic affected your family? And I recently also joined Culver Needs Committee, and committee is looking at what support can be provided to students who have these needs, the survival needs, right? Housing, food, clothing. And they have identified from the survey data that we in our district have about 60 families that are homeless. That's roughly around 90 children. And they've also identified in this survey that 20% of the families who responded to the survey are have lost their job, and this was earlier in 2020. And so these numbers may have increased, and these numbers may be changing now. What do I plan to do about this? Well, the first thing I did is I connected Culver Needs to the organization St. Joseph's Center. And what they do is they have a grant from LASA, who that helps them provide housing um, opportunities, housing opportunities for those who are homeless. They also have other programs, mental health programs, health programs, and they have also programs to subsidize rent, because the number one thing we can do as a society is to help people stay in their home. I'm a public health professional, and I truly believe that the safest place right now during this pandemic is for you to be in a home, in a shelter. And the families that are homeless don't have that privilege and that opportunity. And so if these support services can subsidize some of their rent to keep them in their current apartment, that's something that St. Joseph's can also support, and something that we as a society need to be thinking about. I'm also a big proponent of voting no on Measure B. Measure B is our uh, basically will repeal renter protections that we have been working as a community to put in place for the last 2 years. And it's really important for our community to understand that our city council, along with community input, and lawyers, local lawyers, attorneys who focus on um, uh, realtor and tenant and landlord um, uh, law have put together these protections, and it's taken about 2 years for Culver City to have these protections, and that if we vote yes on B, these protections will be repealed, because what is saying is that we need the voters to approve these. And I think we have the experts, we had the community input, and we had our city council all worked together for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and I trust that we have put together the best protections that we can for our community so that we can stabilize housing in Culver City and that our students can remain in our school district. And this also helps our teachers because a lot of our teachers are renters, and it will help them stay in our communities. We know that before we started writing these, working on these protections, uh, renters were getting $200-300 increases every year. I'm a homeowner, and I know that if my mortgage went up $200-300 every year, that it would come to a point where I could no longer afford my home. And so this is why I think it's really important for us to keep our renter protections in place, to build relationships with nonprofits such as St. Joseph Center, to keep lines of communication with the city so that we can continue to provide resources to our families and our teachers. And I want to tell this parent that I'm fully committed to making sure that our families who are underserved, both academically and these financial barriers that they have, that I will keep them in my mind and in my forefront, and I will fight and advocate to making sure that they receive all the support that they need during this pandemic and into the future. Thank you so much for this question. I really appreciate it. I hope this election that you vote for Paula Mesola de Herrera, and please vote early and vote safely. Thank you.